It's been 2 years since it happened. No one knows or what caused it. The only thing we know is that every single person on this planet became blind. All at the same time. Or at least that's what I thought. And by blind, I mean absolutely blind. What happened then? Well, everything collapsed. The world just became absolute chaos. People were dying every single day. Some of them by taking their own life because they couldn't bear to live in the darkness. Some of them by accident, like not knowing they were walking right into the open window, or by being in planes and buses when it all happened. I was what you would call the lucky one. No, I didn't manage to keep my sight, but when it all went down, I was simply in my home watching TV and then, well, suddenly I wasn't. The first few hours were just pure chaos. I could hear screams from all sides, people crying in pure horror of losing their vision. And to be perfectly honest, I did my fair share of screaming too. But I put myself together and started thinking, there's gotta be some sort of explanation for this. Was it a terrorist attack with some sort of bioweapon? Did we all just become some sort of twisted military experiment? Was it happening everywhere? I need answers. It was long enough for me to partially get used to not seeing, and my other senses became more... is stronger right word? I took it slowly and started going backward until I bumped into what I knew was my living room wall. The way I was facing was also my TV. Yes, that's it. They gotta have some sort of emergency broadcast. I managed to find my remote control sitting on my coffee table, turn on the TV, and increase the volume to max to make sure I don't miss a thing. First channel, nothing. Just static humming. Second channel, same result. All of the channels were the same. Well, no luck there. Radio came quickly as a second option, but the problem was I didn't have one. Well, there goes, that I told to myself. I knew phones come with radio pre-installed. The number one issue was I obviously had no idea how to find the radio app. I knew my layout, but believe me when I say the radio was not amongst my most used apps. I don't think I would be able to find with both my eyes still working, let alone in the situation. Well, that's it, I thought. I'm out of options. What should I do? I made a few attempts to at least call someone, but it went as well as you could expect. I don't even know who I called on my first attempt. The second one was an automated voice message that gladly let me know I'm calling my local pizza place and their lines are currently down. Sad, I was in the mood for pizza. Well, that and seeing again, but hey, I'm not one to complain. I came to the conclusion that the best thing I can do right now is just wait in my apartment. I mean, the government has got to do something, right? Not exactly sure what, but something. The first 2 days were surprisingly bearable. If you scratch out the horrified screaming of people down the street and the sound of cars crashing combined with other terrible sounds I can't even recognize, I was quite familiar with my small studio apartment, so I knew where to go for food, to wash myself and sleep. I mean, yeah, it took a few stubbed toes, cut fingers, and headbands, but I figured it out. The first problem that came in was me running out of food. Like a week in, I couldn't find anything besides a bag of which I very unfortunately came to find out was chili. So what now? Not much changed since the first time. I could still hear the screams. Noise-canceling headphones helped with that, although be it slightly fewer screams. I could also still hear things being destroyed. Combine that with the fact that the TV still didn't do anything. All programs were still... I managed to find my shoes, jacket, and grab them up as an improvised cane. I stood in front of my doors, listening, thinking if there is any other choice. No, there's nothing. I grabbed the door handle. Locked? Yeah, of course it is. Dumbass, I thought to myself. I grabbed my keys in the lock and turned them 2 times to let myself out. Locked? What? I rotated the keys 1 more time. I pushed on the door. Locked. No, that's not right. It's gotta be open right now. Maybe it's stuck? I tried pushing with all of my force. The door didn't even budge. I tried everything. Kicking it, shoulder charged, that one really hurts. Begging on the door, crying on the floor, kicking it again, nothing worked. After I felt like hours, I turned my back to the door and with a defeated sight, sat down on the floor, flapping my hands on the side of my body. Then landed on something. Well, interesting. It was a small phone. It wasn't mine because that one was in my pocket. In case, I don't know, I just need it, okay? Anyway, I picked it up and started examining it with my fingers. It certainly wasn't a phone as I first thought. For a long time, I didn't really know what. Considering I don't own one, I got scared a bit. But I thought to myself, every single person around here just got blind and this weirds you out. At that point, I just went with it. Well, let's see what you have for me, I told myself, and by trial and error, I managed to put the thing on. The message it had on it was, well, say it made me sick would be an understatement. The message was as follows. What you're listening to right now is a message from the government of state of San Francisco. As of January the 21st, 2020, the quarantine is set on every single resident of the city. You are not to leave your place of residence under any circumstances whatsoever. Failing to do so will result in capital punishment. We are well aware of the current situation and what happened to all of the citizens. Please be aware that we are doing our best to solve this current crisis. In order to ensure your security, your door has been permanently sealed and can be removed only from the other side by the assigned personnel. Please stay safe, Governor Newsom. I was speechless. Did I just heard what I heard? Fuck. They left us all alone. Yeah, sure, doing whatever we can, my ass. Fucking government speech bullshit. To ensure my safety from what? I'm blind, so is every single person in this fucking city. What the fuck do you think I'm gonna do? Steal people's game? And yeah, sure, on top of not being able to go outside, I can't even get any food because guess what? The all-knowing and bright Newsom closed every single person inside their homes. Fuck. I was done. Question on top of questions. What am I going to have? How long will the electricity keep running? How about water? I had that working so far, but for how long? The emotions trying to take over me. Fucking pieces of shit. Yeah, sure, just lock me in here. I bet all of you already have the cure and you just hold it for yourself. No, they can't. Don't be ridiculous. They're doing their best. It will be fine. After I felt like an eternity, I stood up. My head pointing down, I walked to my couch. With a sigh, I laid there. Food. I need to eat. What am I gonna do? My kitchen is empty. I looked, good, over and over. Nothing. The only thing I managed to find was already mentioned, chili and a package of rice crackers. I had 5 of them. After devouring all of them as my one and only food for the day, I tried to go to sleep, to hopefully make my screaming stomach quiet for at least a couple of hours. As I lay there, I listened. I heard banging on the floor. It sounded like someone was punching the floor like it owned the money. Looks like someone found their dictaphone a little later than others. I laughed to myself. Scratching on the floor, mice. I had a mice problem. 2 mice lived somewhere in my kitchen. Never managed to track them down. Fuck. I remember the days when that was my biggest problem. Touching came from the kitchen. Nothing in their body, believe me. I already checked, I said to my only company. I listened some more, people above me talking. It was a married couple. Met them a few times. Looked like cool people. I could only hear muffled voices, but it didn't sound like they weren't in an exactly good mood. More noises, cars and gunfire. Wait, what? No, that's not possible. I mean, at the beginning, yeah, the people just went crazy, got their guns and fired out random noises, but now, a few weeks into this madness, Yes, I heard it right. Car engine, gunfire, and men shouting. I sprang up from my bed and ran to the window, stumbling into everything in my way. When I got to the window, I opened it wide and listened. That engine. They must see. That's right. They must. I heard them shoot. I heard vehicle pass. You can't just do all of that stuff blind. I quickly started shouting at them. Hey, I'm here. Please help me. Can you see it? Are you not blind? Do you know what it did? Can you cure it? Can you get me out here? Hey, please. I'm here. Can you hear me? Other people probably heard the sounds too and joined me in my shouting. Soon my voice got lost in the sea of shouts and screams. The sound of engines and shouting got more distant, and soon it disappeared completely. So did the voices of people around me. It just became another silent night. I got back into my bed. I fell asleep. Don't remember much, but let me tell you. Waking up with an empty stomach and knowing you can't feel it is one of the worst feelings ever. I had to eat something. I was so hungry. I actually felt it. But there was nothing, except for the chili powder. I just sat there and didn't know what to do. Countless times I looked and countless times I failed to find anything. My mind became mush. The hunger, blindness, working extra sleep, and no working TV or computer. From then on, the time is just a blur. I don't remember how many times I went to sleep and how many times I woke up. I remember my flowers were the first to go. Let me tell you, tulips don't taste great. Neither does desert rose. I felt sick, but at least I didn't feel the hunger. I ate all of it. The leaves, roots, petals. Those lasted only a few days. Books were next on the line. I had a collection of Batman comics that I was very proud of. But well, I'm sure Bruce would understand. I was at the point where I didn't care what I eat. I just had to eat something. To my surprise, paper isn't really the best thing for a stomach. After only a couple of pages, I threw it all out. In my search, I was trying to find something that would stay in, and by accident bumped into an empty flower pot, now only filled with dirt. Well, I got my next meal. It tasted like, well, dirt. I lost most of my weight. I could feel how bony my legs and hands got. My belly almost disappeared. I could barely stand. I tried catching the mice living in my kitchen, but that was to no avail. If they were still in my apartment, I had no chance of finding them, let alone eat them. My body felt like a leaf. I could barely move. The hunger just became unbearable. I knew what I had to do. The only thing left for me to do. I slowly lifted my body and crawled to the kitchen. I found it. My hand slowly took the kitchen knife. I had the blanket with me to wrap it. I sat with the knife in my hand, considering all of the possibilities. Nothing. I tried everything. Now the other choice I had to make. What part is it gonna be? My hands? No. I need those. Stomach? Well, it could be if I had any fat on it. Legs? Yes. Legs. My calves to be more accurate. I can't. My hand could barely hold the knife. I can't. But I must. I don't want to die. I can't. I can survive this and I will. I took the knife, slowly tracing it with my fingers to my calf. Breathe in, breathe out. The knife was in the cutting position. Breathe in, breathe out. I held it with all of my power. Breathe in, breathe out. I started cutting. The pain was unbearable. I felt the blood just oozing out of my leg. The knife handle got slippery. I kept cutting. The pain made me lightheaded. My head started to spin. I kept cutting. Then finally, the knife got free. I grabbed the blanket and wrapped it around my leg. I took the meat that used to be my calf. My fingers ran through it. Funny, if you don't see it, it feels like beefsteak. I started eating. The raw flesh was getting stuck between my teeth and blood everywhere. I devoured it in a matter of minutes. raw and bloody. My head kept spinning. My blood loss combined with the pain and how weak I was made me fade out. I don't know how long I've been out. Not like it matters. When I checked my band-aid, it was soaked. The pain from my cut was pulsating. I could feel every single move I made with my leg. Standing, or let alone walking, became impossible. But I noticed something. My hunger. It was gone. For the first time in what felt like years, I wasn't hungry. I started smiling. My stomach was full. When I put my hand on my belly, it wasn't rumbling. Thighs and fingers tasted different, but in my humble opinion, still good. The days went by. I lost count. It was just me in my head. My legs were gone, but that didn't matter. I had enough food to get by. I just sat there, and my thoughts took over. I went through all of my memories over and over. Not a single corner in my head left unnoticed. I started hearing things. My old classmate from elementary school, my ex-girlfriends, all of them talking to me, calling me. Then it happened. One day, I woke up, opened my eyes, and saw it. I wasn't blind anymore. My sight, it got back. I saw it. I saw everything. My window, it was open. I looked outside. To be continued. That was it for today's story. I'll hopefully see you in the next one.